Hey everyone, in this episode we're going to be taking a look at the movie Alpha, where we'll be exploring the characters, its story, and its visuals that it provides. All that and more in episode 67 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Hey everyone, it is Donnie.
And it is Oscar.
And we have our producer Ruben here as well. And if you're a listener, a repeat listener, then you would know that that is not correct.
Ha! We tricked you.
Gotcha. I am Oscar, and
I am Donnie.
And that is Donnie.
But we do have our producer Ruben here.
That was
That was true. That part was correct.
If he was like on the mic, then we probably would have had him say one of our names.
Right.
Yeah. So, and Ruben says hi, as always. I don't know if we said that.
Did he even say hi?
Did you say hi, Ruben?
No. He didn't even say hi. He's just putting words in his mouth. Don't speak for Ruben.
But yes, thank you for tuning into this episode. If you are a returning listener, we appreciate it. If you're a first timer, hope you enjoy it. Hope you stick around. We'd love to hear from you if possible as well, from anyone. So definitely always leave your comments anywhere possible, social media, on iTunes, on YouTube. Definitely feel free to do any kind of comments. We just want to get some feedback in, as well as just contact you guys, communicate with you guys. So we definitely would appreciate that as well. I think we're ready to get into the nitty gritty, given that I don't think we have anything to announce, right?
I don't think so. I think we could just jump right in.
It's a slow week today. It's a slow news week, I guess. But yes, so let's go straight into Alpha. As always, Donnie, please start it off with your quick thoughts. We have a guest speaker.
Yeah, man. Alpha was dope. I really liked Alpha. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much. I don't know. I guess the trailer just was like,
The poster also didn't kind of.
It didn't like
the half human and then the half dog.
Yeah, I just was kind of on the fence about it. So, we went in and I wasn't thinking much of it. But I mean, it did engage me pretty quickly as soon as it started. I really, really enjoyed it. I really thought it was such a simple film in terms of, like the storyline itself and the kind of journey we went on with the characters. But I feel like it just had a good message. I mean, obviously the dog's name, the main dog in this film, is called Alpha. So the movie is named in relation to the dog's or the wolf's name. The wolf. It's a wolf. Sorry. Let's be correct here.
Right.
Let's be politically correct. It's not a dog. It's a wolf. Spoiler.
So dogs come?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Before we get any further.
So did dogs come from wolves?
Yeah, I think they derived from wolves.
They just stopped doing their hunting.
They descended from wolves.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So that was cool. And the premise, Oscar, I won't take your job. You tell us what the premise of the film is. My bad.
You loved it that much.
I know.
Maybe you should have took one on this. So yes, in case you've been in the dark in terms of this past week and what movies came out, Alpha is in the prehistoric past. A young man struggles to return home after being separated from his tribe during a buffalo hunt, and finds a similarly lost wolf companion to start a friendship that would change humanity. This movie stars Cody Smith McPhee and was directed by Albert Hughes. So just those little quick lead actor.
Are we supposed to know who Cody is? Like, do we know him?
You can. He was in X-Men. He's the Nightcrawler in the recent X-Men movies.
Oh, okay.
He was also in the second Planet of the Apes trilogy that just came out with Matt Reeves. I think it's Dawn
of the Planet of the Apes.
He was in that one as well. And he did the voice of Norman in Paranorman. So he's
been around the block.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I was telling you the other day. I was like, I totally would see it again because it just was engaging, and it's one of those kind of you have this protagonist who is not the strongest guy. He's like a teenager, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of transitioning into his adulthood and manhood and having to prove himself to his tribe. His father's the chief of the tribe, and they're supposed to go on this annual buffalo hunt. And it's time for him to start pulling his weight, so to speak, is what the father says. He has to prove himself to our tribe. So, immediately I think we are drawn to him because we want his like the best for him. We want his safety. We want him to be able to show his tribe that he can, be a man, and I guess whatever that means back in prehistoric times. But we immediately were drawn to him. He was likable, and yeah. And I feel like a lot of the characters were. I mean, they didn't go too deep into like specific characters other than like the son, the father. Obviously, that was another big character in the film. And you could tell he was a loving father, and he was a chief, and he was strong and a warrior and a man's man. But you could also see he had very, very like the strong love and compassion for his son. And I thought that was beautiful too. Just when I thought that was great.
I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really nice. I don't think necessarily of it, at least it didn't land necessarily as the kind of like how a dog best friend kind of grew, like how it became. I know we like joked around as that's like the as we marketed it as the origin of a dog. But I felt like
that
it was
kind of like the secondary kind of like
I felt like it was more of just it was a survival story, but with the idea that bonding, it can be bonds beyond just human to human, and you can bond with an animal. In this case it was the wolf. And it's just that relationship of like
and this was like before dogs and humans were
compatible. Exactly.
This was like the wolves were.
I mean, it was a nice touch when they did like the references to what like a dog would do with like the heel and the fetching and those kinds of things.
Kind of like it gives you, it's kind of, what's that called?
Nostalgic? Or
no, it's called there's a category when you take history and you turn it into fiction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Historical fiction, I guess is what it's called.
I mean, I guess.
But I mean, I was getting like you're getting little moments of that, like, like kind of making the audience go, oh, this is where a dog learned to play fetch. Oh, This is where you got the idea of blah, 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 like.
It was like it definitely was a fictional story, but it was very close to almost feeling like it's nonfiction, like it almost is some kind of historical depiction of that. But I really thought it was really nice. Visually, it was beautiful. Like all the shots that they had, were really great shots of like scenery. Sometimes you would think you're watching Planet Earth or some kind of like, documentary, and you're just waiting for that, voiceover to just start.
Yeah. David Attenborough just start narrating something.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The visuals were really nice.
And I think Cody just did a great job for us to be interested. I mean, yes, for like the first quarter of it, you have other characters, but once he gets separated, it's really just
solely him and Alpha.
And like there's no like checking in on how the dad's feeling. It was just pure him and
we
Alpha.
Were basically in the perspective of him. Like we didn't know where we were. Right. We didn't know where anyone was. We didn't know where our family was.
And that's scary too.
And I mean, that was insane. I mean, for him to be that young, for him to be separated from everybody and everything he knows,
and he was hurt, and
he was severely injured. And this is prehistoric times where saber-toothed tigers are running rampant and just like killing people, which we saw in the film. So very interesting and very just like captivating. I love films that take you back to prehistoric times too. I mean, sometimes it gets a little like, you could tell it's just very, very fake. But this one was kind of more on the, I feel like, realistic side. Like they didn't overdo it to where it seemed like, oh, they're totally just trying to make this epic movie and just throw all these, woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers just because, it seemed like a little more realistic and more natural, which was nice.
With the common enemies being the wolves and also, I'm going blank, the hyenas. There you go.
Yeah, the hyenas.
Those like, and it's kind of like, those probably would be more the common ones. They did have the encounter with was it? I don't know if it was a saber-tooth because it was like really dark.
It was very shadowed, but it was a saber-toothed tiger.
They had that encounter, but that was with the tribes. But yeah, it was a really nice depiction of like prehistoric times and how how life was very different. I mean, in a modern day setting, if you got lost or if you got separated from your family or friends, there's so many ways to stay alive easily or like you communicate back somehow that I could imagine it. I was watching this and I was like always thinking of just like, at what point would I say, you know what, it was a good run, I tried.
Seriously,
I tried,
I gave it my all, but
right, like when he fell in the ice water, and when he fell in and he wasn't able to get out, he was
trapped under like the glaciers, like the ice caps.
Out had just been, and then like his knife fell and he went to go to like grab it. I mean, I don't know in the science world if that would have been possible for him to actually have been able to have that much in time to do all that and still come out.
Yeah, and then for him to be able to break the ice from underneath.
Yeah,
like I feel like you have to, and to try to punch, to try to throw a punch through water already is hard.
Yeah.
So to be able to exert enough force to try to throw a punch through water to break ice, I don't know. I mean, I guess a little unrealistic. Who knows? I mean, maybe it was a really thin piece of ice. We don't know.
Right.
It didn't seem like it was.
So that's why I don't know the science of it. But I can only assume that this movie did have its, catering to more of like movie magic or bending the rules, kind of, so to speak. So it's still a nice relationship that we see bond. Like they bond, Alpha and the lead character, which I don't even know if they gave him a name.
They did, because we have to find it. I'll find it.
But it was just a really nice relationship to see it grow from like, we're strangers, I'm hurt, you're hurt, I guess we don't have any other options, to a full on
and interesting in how they met too, because they met with the Alpha and the rest of the wolves from that pack trying to kill him.
Yep.
And
he hurts him, so the Alpha is like down, and the other wolves are just like, all right, we're not gonna eat him. Let's go. He's too high for us. Yeah, that was a really nice. That was a realistic portrayal. Like, it wasn't like he found him. It wasn't like Pokemon. It was like, I choose you to be my companion, right. Or anything like that. So it was a really nice way to portray companionship with human and animals. Even if it was like an homage to being like, what it is now for dog owners. I really thought it was just a nice story that fit right. But the visuals were really, really, really great. I can't get off of that. Like his
name was, sorry to interrupt, his name was Kita.
Oh, yes, that sounds right. Okay, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
That's about right.
You didn't even know. No, it does. It rings a bell.
But no, yes, the visual that I wanted to specifically mention was in the situation, or not situation, in the scene of the ice falling into the ice, and you have like a beautiful, like, he's underwater, and so you see like all that darkness. And the wolf's on like above it, and it's all light, and the wolf is like jumping in the air. You're thinking he's gonna break the ice, which
he didn't, which was disappointing. I feel like they set us up, like they set like
it was because it was a slow mo.
Yeah, like I felt like it was like basketball. We're watching basketball, and like it was like an alley. It was supposed to be an alley-oop, but like he missed it.
Oh yeah,
he missed the basket.
So it doesn't become a highlight. It kind of just destroys, like, making that like a highlight moment.
Yeah, that could have been. But maybe they were like, oh, everyone is expecting that moment. Let's not do it like that. Maybe.
But it I can see if they're expecting it, because it was.
They set it up like
that. They set it up very, very well with the visual of it. So it looked really nice. So you want to see it complete. Like, you want to get that complete image. It's like getting a half painting almost, so to speak. But yeah, like, it was a really nice, well done movie that surprised me. I really thought it was going to be more of like a little cliche, a little bit of, just like bad writing and the story being very flat, and you're just not connecting. They're just going through the motions of like, oh, now we're gonna train you because now you're ours. And very emotionally driven from the dad, by performance by the dad.
Yeah, you really sensed, especially when he thought that his son had died. He thought that he fell off a cliff and he was too far to reach, and he was unconscious, so he thought that he died. And he really portrayed that emotion very authentically.
Very short amount of screen time.
It got me emotional.
Yeah.
Just seeing his reaction.
I don't know how. I really don't know what the ending implied. I mean, I know that it was kind of just like the beginning of like, a new way of living, being amongst wolves now versus like being enemies. Or if that was like the first sign of dog ownership. But I don't know if that really. I don't know if to me it felt like it was just like another twist that we didn't need, because the twist was that Alpha was a female.
Mm-hmm.
And
that she was pregnant.
Which was like went through a lot. Yeah, which went through a lot to still maintain your babies.
And that was another unrealistic thing that I was trying not to be like, oh, that so wouldn't happen. But this Alpha dog, she got hurt. She got hurt initially, like, because Kita hurt her because she tried to kill her. She tried to kill him, so he was just defending himself. So then he kind of nursed her back to health, and then she got really, really messed up when she fought off the saber-toothed tiger when they were in that cave and like got really hurt, and then he like kind of tried to nurse her back to health again, and they were in freezing temperatures, and they were probably dehydrated and they were finding food along the way, but probably not getting all the food they could, and so for her to like make a full recovery and to deliver a healthy litter was great. It was a happy ending, so that's great. But I was just thinking like, I don't know, maybe there would have been some complications or something like that. But it was a really, really solid film. And just going back to the visuals, there was one scene in particular that I noted that I really liked visually. It was towards the end. Like towards the end when he was he had fallen unconscious in the snow, I guess, and he was reliving kind of a memory. It was right before they went on the wild buffalo hunt, when he was sleeping in that warm cave with his parents and listening to his parents' conversation, and the dad had said something like, he doesn't know, or he doesn't even know how strong he is, or something like that. And then the camera like panned back to him in his warm cave, and then he awoke and opened his eyes, and he was back in the freezing cold snow, still lost, but kind of like that was like the last little bit of encouragement and validation he needed to continue on. So I really liked that scene. I thought visually it was really cool, and it really like sparked me.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really powerful moment for that, and I think it brought home that like strength from within kind of message that this again primarily is a survival story, so that kind of is just that motivation. So if someone can find strength when they're practically like 0 to no chance of surviving, you can find the strength too,
dude, for real. Especially in this day and age, right? We don't have to like worry about saber-toothed tigers running around, or like
that was a scary like thought for the one that got
snatched
yeah. So I think, oh, we're good, the tribe's good, we can continue on,
and then you get just yanked. Out of nowhere you get yanked like a piece of trash. I don't know,
that's really, really tough. I thought that was your favorite scene. Is that your favorite scene? Because that one I know that one you like had talked about a lot, that it just caught on to you. Was that your favorite scene, or did you have
the one that I just explained? Yeah, I'd say that was my favorite scene. Visually it was really really nice. I was gonna say pretty. It was pretty. I was gonna say pretty. Right. Visually it looked really nice, and I think it just reiterated that what you said, that message, that like inner strength, like to really pull from within and to know or to not know, because that was the point of what the dad said, like he doesn't know the strength he has. And in that moment, he found that strength that he didn't know he possessed. So I really, really liked that message. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to, and we all want to kind of aspire to and say, like I have inner strength that I probably don't know.
And you see those examples. I mean, you still see those common examples in modern times. Like I pushed through and I lost the weight I needed to, do that, or I pushed through and I became, a pilot, or whatever the case is. So, yeah, it's really nice to kind of see that, it doesn't have to be a goal. It could just literally be a strength to continue on for another day.
Just like perseverance.
Yeah. I thought that was nice. My favorite scene for this movie was just the little series of sequence of, like, the bonding of, starting to become more of, like, a dog kind of companion, and starting to get those common traits of, like, helping hunt, as well as, listening and knowing that, I wouldn't say the owner, but the human eats first, and that kind of that little sequence that takes place is really nice to see that kind of that bond officially formed. Because after that point, that they're two. Like you don't think of like, oh, that other wolf can still betray him because it's not sure yet, right? Or it's a setup. But,
exactly.
Yeah, it was a really nice time, and it's one of those things that if you're a dog owner, you'll think of your dog, bonding with your dog kind of moment, and that.
Right.
So, yeah, I really think that was
It definitely made me want a dog. I'll give you that much. I was like, can we get a dog now? Like by the end of it, I was like thinking, like, God, I want a dog so bad. I just want something to love me unconditionally. Isn't that why we want dogs?
I mean,
isn't that why we want dogs?
I
was gonna say, isn't that why we want pets? But not all pets do that.
Cats. Are you looking at? I feel like
thinking cat, evil cats.
Yeah, because I don't think a fish will love you unconditionally. Probably can try your best.
Surprised. No.
I would really want to see if you like became a fish, or like you became like size enough to go in like the same tank, if that fish
would freak out. That'd be like a whale coming at you.
Yeah, but would it like be like food, or would it be like, oh, you're my owner, what's up? I mean, technically fishes don't really think, supposedly.
Don't their memories reset every like something seconds?
Something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, but so yeah, maybe just dogs.
Okay, yeah, we'll stick with dogs.
Maybe just dogs as the unconditional love companion, if you treat them well, right? Too.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So yeah, with all that being said, Donnie, what is your score for Alpha?
You know, you have something on your eyelash. I just wanted to point that out.
On podcast?
Yeah,
on public
I'm
podcast?
staring right at you so I can see it. It's
Which
on
side?
No, your left eye. I mean, that eye. Just kind of go like this. Just pull it out. There you go.
Did I get it?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh.
You're good. Oh, no, it's still there. Anyway, you work on that while I tell them what my final real score is.
People are going to be like, are we really just listening to 5 minutes?
My final real score, you know what? I'm going to give this one... I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Sound like you regret that already.
Yeah. Maybe I...
Is it still there? Let me just do a quick update.
Yeah, but...
Where?
Can you just go like
Okay,
this?
just
Like, go
continue.
like that.
Ow.
Okay, I think you got it. Don't damage your eye now. I'm gonna give it a no. I'm lying. I'm taking that back. I'm taking it back. I'm gonna give it a 4. You know what? Because life's too short. And
That's a reason for the 4. Wait a minute.
I'm gonna give it a 4 because the visuals were nice. The visuals were really, really good. Better than I thought. The story itself was way more engaging than I thought. I mean, maybe my expectations were just really low for this film.
That could be.
But I came out really pleasantly surprised. I was entertained. I was emotionally drawn to the characters. Obviously, it had a great message, of perseverance and self-strength, inner strength, and then, obviously, companionship and loyalty between humans and canines.
Yes.
So, those are all great things. And I think it was, maybe, like we said, it was a simple film. So maybe it won't, not everyone will appreciate that. But I think it had...
you didn't get your big fights or your big,
Yeah, you got a few, climactic scenes, but they weren't even...
That wasn't
climactic,
it wasn't driven because of, spectacle.
It wasn't this big build and then a sudden release. It was...
Yeah.
They were, kind of smaller, but that was fine. I didn't, I don't always need that big build up all the time. So, for those reasons, and the acting was good. I just think it was overall, it was a solid film. I mean, it wasn't the best film, but overall, it had. I feel like I could rate high scores on from the cinematography to the story to the acting. The details. It was just really good. It really did it for me, and I really do want to see it again. Maybe not I would go see it again in the theaters because we have AMC stubs and we can see it again and not have to pay.
Nice tie-in.
But whether it's in the theater again or on DVD, I'd for sure want to see it again. So that is why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 movie reels.
Okay. I'm gonna go just a little bit higher than what you gave. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It was one of my favorites. I was doing my list of where it would go. Unfortunately, it doesn't crack into the top 10 because of another film that we'll soon be talking about. but
right.
But it did manage to bring attention to the love of just pets and for us in this kind of day and age. While also showing us a strong story of survival back in time. So you take away a lot of the things of, oh, well, how can this happen and how can that happen? Because you really go into time that you don't really know much about because it's not really existent for you anymore. So you don't necessarily judge it for what it did, and you kind of go with just seeing how you do live in a world without everything you're used to. So that was a really nice, way of changing it a little bit, changing the pace.
Right.
And I think also the visuals really just made it one that I can definitely see, a lot of GIFs online. I can see it a lot of those kinds of just common appearances because it's just striking. There's a lot of different striking visuals. I believe there was also one for this movie that it was wasn't it thunder or like storms that were like approaching. I believe that was like one of them like that. There was just kind of things like that. It was like a nature shot. It wasn't even relations to.
Yeah, I was just focusing on the elements.
Yeah, and there was like overhead like aerial views of like the mountains that they were going through. So it was really nice. I really appreciated what it was, and it was I am a dog fan, so I loved the bonding moments, as I said, is one of my highlights. So and I can't help but recall just my own dog, thinking of Zazu, rest in peace. But yeah, it was a really nice call to just have that reflection, so to speak, for that side of it. The realistic sides, I can't really say necessarily. I can't sit here if I knew for certain that yes, you can't survive under those conditions. The only thing that I would really draw criticism to would be just the pacing of it. Would be because it kind of it wants to establish being alone, and I felt like we missed out on some things in the beginning to help establish, because we kind of got a general sense that he was not necessarily weak, but he still didn't have that courage or that strength to kill animals or things like that. But I felt like we never got a full explanation from him. Like, why did you think that? Why couldn't you kill it? Like, was it like, did you feel like you weren't prepared?
Yeah, what was holding you back from?
Yeah, some things that I think would help help on a personal level for everyone to be like, well, I have similar thoughts too, of like, because at first when he was with his tribe, he didn't want to kill the animals. Like, he had that hesitation.
Yeah,
and I could see myself being like that too. I can definitely see some hesitation of like, oh, I can not kill this animal that we didn't do anything to it. We're just killing it for its food. Like, I get it's a different time, but so it's that kind of initial like, oh, okay. And I get when you survive, you have to survive. You have to do what you got to do. But I just felt like it would have been a greater way to understand it. And it was actually, I just want to call it out as well, that it was also in a different language, so it wasn't in English.
Yeah, so subtitled.
So it also had that foreign film like appeal to it too, which was nice as well.
I think had it been in English, it would have.
It would have probably taken.
It would have brought it down. It would have taken it. Taken you out of it a little. Ironically,
right? But I definitely, it's one that I would recommend to everyone to check out. If you enjoy just like a good. It's a good story, but also just like a calm story.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just like a journey.
Yes,
not so much an adventure, but a journey.
There you go. That'd probably be the best way. So yes, 4.5 would be my score. So hopefully, listeners, you had a similar score as ours, or if you thought different, we'd love to hear your comments. Definitely just as I mentioned earlier, don't forget to just comment anywhere possible. So we have our social media platforms. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's Team Reel-ists, Team REELISTS. And we also have our iTunes, where you can listen to us if you have an Apple device, or YouTube, where you can just go in and comment. You don't even have to listen on there. We'll read your comment.
Yeah.
we just want to kind of keep that eye out. But yes, hopefully you enjoyed this movie, and if you haven't seen it,
go check it out.
Go check it out. Definitely one that probably we both agree it's worth seeing.
Absolutely.
And it's worth seeing on the big screen for the visuals.
For sure, yeah. Please, if you're gonna see it, but you're like, oh, maybe I'll wait till the DVD or whatever, don't do that. Just go see it. It's great. Yep. You're gonna get a full, better experience in the theater.
Yes, you will. So thank you, listeners, for listening to this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until next time.
See you guys.